Alright, me again, D. McClung. Archer Monologues. Alright, touch on a few things here. I'll try not to be too long, winded. Alright, people are attacking this football player for not standing up for the national anthem. I got this to say. Oh, and I just read that his birth mom, who gave him up for adoption, is like ashamed of him or something. Just kill me now. All right. And I'm sick and tired of these fucking redneck, lunatic idiots bashing people, hating on people, being disrespectful to people, because, the bottom line here is the redneck idiots don't know what they're talking about. They got it all wrong. They always get it wrong because they're freaking rednecks. I've taken the word redneck and brought it back into vogue. I mean, I don't know. People don't use rednecks anymore. I guess they call them other things now. But, it's a good word. Might have to define the word redneck for you folks. Particularly you millennials, whatever. Got to give everybody a name and every generation a name so that we know, who we're talking about here. I think that's probably not a good idea to do that. Like, millennials, the X generation, the hippies, we can just include all of those labels, like libtards, progressives, neocons, right-wing conservatives, Tea Partiers, might as well throw in some of the other side too there. Socialists. What do they call the media? Liberal media. I love that. It's like, I kind of, like, what the hell are they talking about? What do you mean liberal media? What? You mean like news programs or whatever on TV or whatever that are like kind of lean towards socialism? I mean, why don't we just call it what it is? If you're a leftist, I remember back in my younger days when someone said, you're a leftist, that meant you were like a freaking socialist or a communist. Why the fancy word? Oh, liberal, progressive. You're not progressive. You're a fucking retard. Anyway, why do we bother? Why do we do this labely thing? And it's just very distracting. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's just inappropriate. It doesn't really describe the person at all. I mean, I've been called everything you can imagine. And to be honest with you, the people that call me things, like, they're not telling the truth. They're not right. They got it all wrong. They're hating on me, for example, for, pointing out the truth to them. Apparently someone should, because they don't know it. Seriously. Okay. They're hating on this football player. I'm sorry. And his own mother, his birth mother, she gave him up for adoption or whatever. I'm sorry, you're not his mother. Just because you gave birth to somebody doesn't make you a mother. I suppose technically, but I don't give a shit. She's ashamed of him. And you know what? I, for one, don't give a fuck what she thinks. Because obviously, she's been, brainwashed. Another word you don't hear as often as you used to, because, and I like that word, even though it's sort of an ironic kind of word, like saying brainwashed. You would implication is that your brain is clean, and that's not the case. So maybe it's a good idea we don't use the word brainwashed so often anymore. Because oh, if you're brainwashed, you're brainwashed. And I'm like thinking, you mean like his brain is like totally clean? Well, I think the thing with brainwashed is they wash your brain of the good stuff and pretty much anything at all that's important, and then just put garbage back in there. So brainwashed, then they do something else. Brainwashed, and then they indoctrinate you with bullshit. Most Americans, sad to say, have been brainwashed. Well, they started out brainwashed. I mean, they started out clean. Their brains were pretty much clean when they were born. And from day one, we start putting dirty shit in their head. A little baby, 2 days old, Let's start the brainwashing, mother. Okay, father. And by the time they're 12, their brain's pretty well dysfunctional and loaded with dirty ideas. And I don't mean naughty, like in sexual. I mean stupid, fucking redneck, delusional bullshit. The United States government, that's the name of the government, not the country. The country's named America, duh. But, let's just put a bunch of crap in people's heads. Let's turn them all into zombies. Or I like to put it this way. Mindless zombie idiots. That's not it. Mindless zombie drones. Pawns of the empire. They've been duped, contaminated, manipulated, indoctrinated, conditioned since the day they're born. There are a few people in the world who have not been totally brainwashed and then indoctrinated. Me, for example. I have escaped that curse, that bludgeoning of my mind by the mind benders and the Neocon Socialist Alliance and the Socialist Collective Agenda and the other guys, just bullies and tyrants and assholes and pricks. And just Hillary Clinton keeps popping into my mind. I really hate that because, I don't want to think about that cunt. I mean, disgusting scum of the earth. I can't believe this woman is allowed to even exist, let alone live in this country and run for president. That is just totally insulting to every human being on the country. Nobody gets all pissy about that, I guess. Anyway, hating on this football player because he believes something is worthy of putting himself out there for. And that's why it's called America and free country and shit, But let's ignore that for people that say things and do things that, the redneck fuckers don't understand. They haven't got a clue. You don't. If I'm talking to a redneck, you don't have a clue. Your brain is not functioning. You're brain dead. Your mouth is still working, but your brain is done. They used to say to us, dope heads, pot heads, acid freaks, you're brain dead. Your brain is fried. This is your brain on acid. Stuff like that. Which we found out was just bullshit, because, didn't happen. I'm still waiting for the flashbacks from my acid trips back in the 60s. You know? Didn't happen. Guess they lied about that, among other things. Like, who blew up the building in, what the heck can that name? Yeah, well, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The guy, they murdered that guy, Timothy McVeigh, like, as if he did that. Ha! Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'm not buying it. So anyway, they're ragging on the guy because he didn't stand up. And they're pretty much trying to ruin him now because, who's trying to ruin him? The redneck fuckers. Because they're like fucking idiots and they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're talking about, and they got it all wrong because they're redneck fuckers. Oh, we're patriotic. You know. Bullshit. You're about as anti-American and un-American as they come, you fucking hypocrite. Free country, free speech. Oh, except for a football player. And me, I might add. Because they hate on me all the time. You know why? Because I tell them the truth. And they don't like it because it fucks with their delusions. Can't live with them, can't kill them. Anyway, the problem here is, as I said, they haven't got a clue. They don't know what they're talking about. They got it all wrong. They're defending a government that is a known terrorist organization. Probably one of the biggest terrorist organizations on the planet at this time. Don't like to hear that, do you, redneck fucker? Sorry, but all the evidence is in. It's true. Not debatable. Not negotiable. No discussion necessary. The United States government is evil. Terrorists. Do I need to name names? George Bush. Terrorist. You know, let's invade Iraq and blow that place up and murder all those people. Terrorist. And traitor. And criminal. And there are people even today, which is unbelievable. I mean unfucking believable. That anybody would defend George Bush. Anybody. I mean, he's a fucking mass murderer, for crying out loud. How much evidence do you need? You know, involved in that, you know, NSA spying thing, which is illegal as fuck. And I'm sure that if you got the concept in your head like, oh, that's a crime, then he's a criminal. And, you know, I suppose we should give him a trial before we execute the fucker. But, you know, that doesn't seem to be happening because Obama is another one of those fuckers. They're all in cahoots. New world order. I'm sorry, people. You don't like the truth. What did the guy say? Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. Well, apparently not. Apparently you can't. Because truth is there. It's in front of your face. It's like in your brain somewhere. But it's like being beat the crap out of by you know, all the redneck ideas in your head. Kind of makes you your own worst enemy. Gonna put a truth in there, in my head, and then my brain's gonna, you know, redneck shit all over that truth, and then beat the crap out of it. And you're going to be totally brain dead, because once your brain beats your brain half to death, then you're just like in a coma. Your own brain beating your own brain to death. I mean, that's just stupid, idiotic, redneck fuckers. Oh, I'm using the word fuck a lot. I just want to, I just use these words like fuck and fucker and words like that. I just use those words as for emphasis. It's like, it's like an underline. It's like bold print underlined. And, then, marked over with a red felt pen, highlighter. Just so you don't miss it. Because I say redneck fuckers. Meaning, really, pay attention. Because the word I just said, redneck, is important here. Because most of you are that. I'm not saying all Americans are rednecks. I'm not even saying most of them are. Well, yeah. I am saying that, aren't I? Most Americans are fucking rednecks. Just so you understand that I really I really despise the redneck. So, the utter contemptuous word that I can put in front of redneck to just tell you, to express my disdain and my disgust. The worst possible word I could put in front of redneck to make sure you understand that I despise you if you're a redneck, because you're a fucking idiot. So I have to put some word. What is the worst word I can put in front of your name if I was talking to you and you are one of those rednecks? I think the word fuck or fucking or fucker pretty much expresses my sentiment. I don't think there's any doubt about what I mean and who I'm talking about. You support the United States government, terrorist organization, basically, you just say, oh, the United States government is guilty of genocide, mass destruction, murder, men, women, babies. Disgusting. Fucking disgusting. I wonder if somebody counts the times I use the word fuck, fucking, and fucker in this particular rant. I don't care. As long as you get the message. Which you probably won't, because your brain is dysfunctional, causing your ears not to work. If you're listening to this, you probably sort of kind of agree with me. So the people I want to listen, the audience that I'm looking for here is all of you fucking rednecks. Listen, pay attention. I'm telling you something. Then I'm not debating it with you. It is called monologues after all. That means I talk, you listen. Keep your mouth shut. Pay attention. Stick your head out of your ass. Turn your earbuds on. Listen. Learn something. Be enlightened. Come out of your coma. Stop being a dick. So, I don't care about the football player. I mean, there have been other people like football players that are, express their views, their opinions, and participated in some sort of cause or campaign or exercise their rights, their freedom, freedom of speech, etc., freedom of expression, and, pretty much got ruined by the redneck mob. Pretty pathetic for an American country, for America, a free country, home of the brave. Oh, shit. Most of you brave Americans are hiding behind the internet. Busted. Seriously. I'm going to defend America, and you're an un-American. You're even anti-American because you don't like the fact that the United States government has committed crimes against humanity. And we're gonna attack you like you're like a dog and treat you like a dog and disrespect you and every damn thing and certainly disrespect your rights because you don't deserve any rights because you don't respect those soldier guys that went over to Iraq and murdered all those fucking people. What a fucking idiot you are. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not just going to sit back and just go about my business and do nothing and say nothing in the face of asshole prick motherfuckers and redneck freaking idiots who, unfortunately, like any crazed mob, can cause mayhem and be worked into a frenzy of hysteria by the mind benders. And the fact that they've already had their brains like totally indoctrinated with bullshit, so they can't even think straight. Certainly, don't expect them to think logically, because if they did, they'd probably kill themselves. Oh God, I'm a fucking redneck. Oh, I've got to die. Bang bang, 2 bullets to the back of the head. I wish I remember the quote from Bill Hicks, comedian. From the front. From the back. To the front. Something like that. I forget. Anyway. Talking about John Kennedy being shot in the front. Well, the video sure looks like it. And I'm not going to believe otherwise until someone comes up with some plausible evidence. Anyway, I kind of got off on that. We all know who killed Kennedy. Wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald either. You'll believe it, because that's the brain dysfunction that, your brain it's been put in your head, and there it is, and, I'm going to believe it. Yeah. You believe in ghosts and spooks and, goblins and delusions. Being delusional is a symptom of insanity. So, you're delusional. I'm not delusional. Yep, you are. All the evidence says you're fucking delusional. I mean, you're fucking insane. All the evidence says, you're a redneck. Maybe the word's a little outdated, but we should bring it back because we need to call these people something that really gets to it. Gets to the root of it. Let's make something clear here. Just in the middle of this, I just want to say this. Just so we're clear on this. I love my country, but I hate its government. With good reason. Justifiable reasons. Because the government is evil. I've said it a million times. I don't have to say it again, but I'm going to keep saying it until at least, 2 or 3 people in this world get it and say, I'm an idiot. I'm not going to be an idiot anymore. I'm not going to think stupid shit. I'm going to put that stupid shit out of my head. I'm going to put some good shit in my head. Good shit like freedom and nature, and the laws of nature and the laws of freedom, principles of freedom. I'm the director of an organization called TAP, T-A-P. Exercising Freedom Advocacy Group. TAP, T-A-P. The Antigone Project. Named after that poor legendary girl who defied her own father, the king, the emperor, and said, "Fuck you, Dad. I'm going to do the right thing." That's why I called my organization the Antigone Project. Because it is a project, and it's ongoing, and it will continue to fight evil and criminals and traitors in government and terrorists like George Bush. And, of course, Obama. And Hillary. And all of those fuckers. Might not accomplish anything today or tomorrow or even next year. Maybe not even in my lifetime. But you know what? I'm not going to live my life being a fucking pussy. I'm not going to live my life like a brainwashed redneck. I'm sitting here looking at a picture of Donald Trump. Amazing. So, let's just be clear on that. America, it's a good place to live. If you like living in a freaking police state, if you like living under the thumb control of Nazi fascist bastards and lunatics and psychopaths and sociopaths. I just described most of the candidates running for president. Yeah, I included Donald in that one because he's a lunatic. I'm really disappointed. I was hoping he would actually be a decent human being. At least one with some kind of brain. You know, I heard somewhere that Donald Trump has a high IQ. Well, I don't remember what they said. What, 130, something like that? That's not high. That's just slightly above average, really, in the scheme of things. It's insulting, because if Donald Trump has the same IQ as me, I doubt it. I'm a bit more than 130, I guarantee you. If you're going to compare the intellect of Donald Trump to me, I'm insulted. Because I guarantee you my IQ is higher than that, and I'm smarter than that. Smarter than him. I don't say stupid shit. I don't go around, acting like a fucking lunatic. Even though I rant. Ranting is not being a lunatic. Ranting is simply me ranting. Let's not be sticking any labels on me for that. Unless you want to just call me a ranter. Which is fine. I don't mind it. All right, so stop ragging on the football player. In the first place, he's just one guy. Pretty much like me, just one guy. But there are people out there who agree with me. I take some comfort in knowing that I'm not the only one with a brain that functions the way it was supposed to, the way nature intended. We have a lot of people out there with, they're just brain dead, like zombies walking around and making noise with their mouths and shit, typing posts for the internet and like, I'll put some on Facebook. You'd think they'd be ashamed of themselves for what they do, for the ideas that they hold true. You'd think they'd just realize, like, look in the mirror. Oh, God, I look like a fucking ugly American. I'm a redneck, yeah. I'm not talking about the guy waving the Confederate battle flag, by the way. He can go either way. He can either be a bigot and racist or an idiot or an asshole prick, or it could just be saying, I know the real reason for the Civil War. I know the real reason. I know why it happened, and I know who's responsible. Abe Lincoln and his lunatic friends. No, Abraham Lincoln was not a hero. Sorry. And he didn't free the slaves, by the way. I don't know where you got that idea, but no, he didn't. Look up some historical documents and, show me where he did that. Oh, the Emancipation Proclamation. That was an executive order from a president. which you just don't use that power unilaterally. Like, Congress makes laws, not presidents. And he actually just on paper, executive paper, said, free all the slaves in the South, in the Confederate States, because that'll just wreak havoc down there with those people, and we'll probably maybe win the war against those independent people down there who have decided not to be a part of the empire. But, history, it is what it is. In spite of and regardless to what they lied to you about in school. I remember I was in school, and I wish I was there again. I wish I could just go back to that history class in high school and just sit there and just one day, just for like 10 minutes. So when I read in the book, Abraham Lincoln, and the teacher says, hey, and Abraham Lincoln, that great guy and everything, and I could just, for like 10 minutes, just stand up and rant and rave about the lunatic Abraham Lincoln and the fucking bastards teaching this bullshit to children and adults, adolescents. I want to get into that one. Children, under 12, adolescents, teenagers. Not the same thing. Two different developmental stages of human development. Child is not 17. Sorry. By any stretch of the imagination. Not biologically, not legally, not at all. Not. It's just not. I mean, if you have children and they're 40 years old, that means you're old, and you got children that have lived a long time. Not as long as you, but, a long time. Your children, offspring, spawn, But legally speaking, biologically speaking, 42-year-old guy is not a child. And neither is a 17-year-old. It's not the way biology works. Adolescent. Adult, less than. Adolescent. Adolescent. Not a child. I don't give a damn what Title 18 of the U.S. Code says. That law is illegal, invalid, and the work of devils. I actively work towards the repeal of Title 18 because it's wrong, people. It's wrong, and it's illegal, and it's anti-American. Oh, how come we don't rag against that? How come we're not giving a lot of hate speech towards, Title 18 and the people that made Title 18 a law? Senators and stuff that voted for it. How come we're not ragging on them for being un-American and anti-freedom, anti-nature, unpatriotic? Oh yeah, let's make it a crime to talk to people. I mean, human beings with the same rights as other human beings. Inalienable, like born with them. Freedom, rights. Oh, let's not talk. Can't talk to that girl. She's 15 and she's a child. Bullshit. Yeah, let's rag on those asshole redneck fuckers for making that law, which they're not allowed to make. According to the Constitution, shall make no law infringing upon the rights of human beings. Title 18 infringes on the rights of every human being. It's a crime. It's a felony to talk to a fucking teenager. Unbelievable. And you people, football player, blah. Sorry, there are important issues in this world. We need to address them. And one of them is not some football player who refuses to stand up. Stand up and show any kind of, recognition to the terrorist organization symbolized by the American flag and the theme song of the terrorist organization called the national anthem. Because, I'm intelligent enough to know better. Apparently you folks, the ones that are hating on this guy, don't know any better. And that's sad because you're retarded or something. Stop it. Fool. Alright. Take a break for a second. Be right back. All right, I'm back. I didn't go anywhere. I just pushed the pause button so I could, take a breather. This ranting wears me out. Yes, makes me tired. But on the other hand, at least I can get that poison out of my system. The poison you put in there, you fucking redneck. Makes me so mad. You make me so mad. Why don't you just stop doing that? It's stupid. Why can't you see it? Why can't you see how stupid it is? I mean, obviously, you got it wrong. Am I being redundant? Yeah, probably. I don't give a fuck. Listen. Stop ragging on the football player, right? He did a good thing. He's alright. Didn't do anything wrong. Probably has a pretty good idea about that. I'm guessing black folk are oppressed in America. The only thing wrong with that is he should have been sitting down and protesting the oppression of every freaking human being in this country. Because if we can't talk to the kids, if it's a crime, if it's a felony, if you can be put in prison for up to 35 years for talking to an adolescent, I'm thinking it's not a free country, people. And that's just crazy. So, get off it. Move on. Find something else to talk about. Well, no. I mean, let's talk about the truth. People in this country are oppressed. Our rights are being denied to us. They are being stolen, robbed from us, and we're not free. I mean, I've said things on this radio show that could get me killed because there are lunatics in the world. And I've said things that are not very nice about America and people and the government and stuff. And you know what? I told the truth. You don't like it? You should examine yourself before you attack me or anyone else like me. Show respect. Yeah, they want me to show respect for an evil bastard like George Bush or Obama or some redneck on the internet. Show some respect for a flag that represents and symbolizes terrorism around the world. Let me show some respect for American soldiers, United States military personnel who have committed atrocities, crimes against humanity, blown children to smithereens in foreign countries. And you know what? I'm not even going to suggest that they don't do the same thing in this country. Let me think. Waco. How many children were destroyed, killed, murdered, burnt to a crisp in Waco? Branch Davidians. People who had not, to my knowledge, committed any crime. Murdered by the United States government. Probably aided with local police criminals. Murder. Nobody ever went to jail for that. Hillary Clinton committed treason, crimes against humanity, mass murder, genocide almost, and other terrible crimes. She's not in jail either. Unbelievable. Americans are unfucking believable. Alright, I'm done. Said what I had to say for now. Gonna go about some business. Talk to you later. Until next time, I'm D. McClung. and this is Archer Monologues.